I start from here? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I have received a question beforehand, and the question is, in the context of the Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib's advice to his sons in his will, which states, the Amirul Mu'mineen says to his sons, "My advice to you is to be conscious of Allah and steadfast in your religion. Do not yearn for the world and do not be seduced by it. Do not resent anything you have missed in it. Proclaim the truth, work for the next world." And then this sentence, which is basically the real context of the following question. The Amirul Mu'mineen said, "Oppose the oppressor and support the oppressed." So the question is, given the significance of these principles, a pertinent question arises regarding our responsibility and duty towards oppressed communities, particularly in Palestine. So basically, the question is, how should we, in the best possible way, follow these principles? And shouldn't we be doing more when it comes to supporting the oppressed communities, so particularly in Palestine? So let me briefly answer. The Amirul Mu'mineen has given a general principle where he said, "Kunu lil-zalimi khasman." That's the thing. Be the enemy of the oppressor. Be aunan, which means you should support the oppressed. So he didn't say you should oppose the disbelieving oppressor. He didn't say you should believing oppressed. He says anyone in the world who is oppressed, you're supposed to support them. Otherwise, he would have made it clear. And the Amirul Mu'mineen had such a global vision, because the Amirul Mu'mineen is the Imam of all human beings and other creatures of Allah also, but in the context of human beings, he's the Imam of even the one who killed him. Just that his killer didn't understand that. Just like Imam Hussein alayhi salam was also the Imam of Shimr. Just like the Amirul Mu'mineen was also the Imam of the tyrants. But they did not understand that. So in that sense, he had this global vision. He is the Imam of everyone, all oppressed people. So he says, support them. Whether they are Jews who are facing anti-Semitism because they believe in one God, they're God-fearing Jews, but they're feeling they are being oppressed, or they're Christian minorities in certain extremist Muslim societies, aren't they oppressed people? On the basis of this principle, we should support everyone who is oppressed. Christian communities in Africa, or Christian communities in Pakistan, Hindu communities in Pakistan, or Muslim communities in India, there's a whole long list. So we should support every oppressed community in one way or other. But of course, we don't have the ability or resources to go out and support every community that is oppressed, because there is so much oppression. So starting with Muslims, at least start with Muslims. So when it comes to Muslims, I would say do not limit it to Palestine alone, because there are so many Muslim communities that are being oppressed. Number one, probably, of course, Palestine is a special case, but according to the UN, the most persecuted minority in the world is the Rohingyas. The Rohingya Sunni Muslims, and my heart goes out to them, who have gone through so much oppression and extreme injustices and crimes that have happened have been done against them, which I can't even tell. So we have to support the Rohingyas. But the problem is that the Rohingya do not sit in political heartlands. The Rohingya are not a sellable commodity. That's the problem. You can't make much political gain from the poor Rohingya Muslims, Sunni Muslims. No one talks about them. What about the Uyghurs or Uyghur Muslims in China? Stories from people who live in Gilgit-Baltistan area. Some friends of friends, some relatives of my friends, they live in Gilgit, and they have permits to go into China and back because they do business regularly, so they don't need visa and stuff. And they told me how they treat the Muslims, the Uyghurs, and in Xinjiang province. But we have a tendency, some people, some Muslims, in particular Shia Muslims, who resort to conspiracy theories and stuff, and they say, oh, it's a big Western propaganda against the Chinese. No, it's not. The Uyghurs have been oppressed. This is a reality. So shouldn't we support them? We should. And of course, the Palestinians. There is no doubt about that. The Palestinians we have to support. All our Muslim brothers and sisters. But as I said, even Christians, even Jews, even Hindus, anyone who is oppressed, our Imam said that we are supposed to support them in any way possible. Charity, or at least speak up, take part in protests and all that. And then when it comes to the opposing the oppressor, yes, oppose the oppressor, even if he is one of us, Muslims. If someone is a Muslim, and there have been so many Muslim tyrants in the history, and still there are who oppress Sunni Muslims, who oppress Shia Muslims, who oppress other Muslims, Sufi Muslims, I don't know, Ismaili Muslims. And shouldn't we oppose them? We should oppose them. But again, in our personal capacity, without hurting our chances, without going out, without thinking about the consequences of our actions, all peaceful means we should adopt. And if we can support people monetarily and give charity, that is very helpful. I hope it was an okay answer. It became a little bit long.
There's a question on Saad. Did Hazrat Ali Islam pray behind the others after the Prophet?
This is a very good question. I have read contradictory things. So, for example, Ustad Mutahari writes that and he explains the circumstances, that when the people are not supporting Ali and Ali has been deserted, he's alone, but still he goes to the mosque, and then he writes, and I paraphrase if I remember the sentences correctly, he said, a person like Ali, what can he do other than just drink a poisoned chalice, like colloquially speaking, in proverbial terms, and do takbiratul ahram and stand in line with other worshippers. Something like that I have read. There are others who say that he never prayed. And then we were having this discussion, and there was a brother sitting next to us, and he said, he must be saying Farada. He must be saying. And that was a very practical solution. He said, yeah, maybe he did pray, but he didn't make. For that brother, it was very important that the Amir al-Mu'minin said Farada. Farada means individual intention, those who don't understand. You play along. You stand behind the Maulana and you play along, but your intention is, I'm saying my own prayers. There is no doubt that the Amir al-Mu'minin had a presence in the mosque. Like I just recited this narration that even when Our Lady passed away, according to the narrations, he was in the mosque. So he maintained his presence in the mosque so that when people from other parts of the world come to Medina, they can see that the real successor to the Holy Prophet is still available, accessible, and they don't think that Ali is such a person who doesn't even pray, he doesn't even go to the mosque. So he maintained his presence there. Whether he said this is hardly on the basis of our belief, it's highly unlikely that he prayed behind them, unless he was saying for other prayers.
I've got another question by WhatsApp. Why was Muawiyah and him referred to with husband before the names?
Oh, that was my choice to to. That was a very interesting question. I appreciate it. It's yeah. It's just my style, I guess. You got the point.
This is probably a question to Slider as well, which I presume everyone is facing that currently in the corporate world. My workplace has asked me to take part in Secret Santa, but if I do not take part, I will face retribution.
Sorry, which take part in?
Secret Santa?
What is that? Secret Santa?
So you purchase a gift for someone.
Oh, Secret Santa.
Secret Santa, yeah.
It's called Secret Santa. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I understand the process, but didn't know the term. Okay.
What do I do? Can I take part in if I don't take part, I will face retribution. What do I do? Can I take part in a westernized activity?
That's a good question. So I am not giving any fiqh ruling. I'm not qualified to do that. You can ask your marja. I'm just speaking out loud. Just it's my understanding. You don't have to act upon it. This disclaimer is very important. I'm not qualified to give any ruling. But what my understanding is that as long as it is so westernized activity is one thing, and anti-Islam activity is another thing. So westernized, if there is Santa, okay, you know that Santa does not exist. Everybody knows that Santa does not exist. Now, unless you, the one who asked the question, they really believe that Santa exists, then it changes the whole premises. so, so the thing is, well, the thing is, I probably would be okay with that as long as it doesn't involve any haram transactions like wine or anything else. So, yeah, but you should tell them. But the thing is, if people are going to give wine bottles and stuff as secret gift and it ends up in your box, that can be a problem. So you are indirectly facilitating something that has something to do with wine, and it's a big no-no. Because for wine, there is no room for any negotiation. So if there is no, this is again my understanding, so I have to repeat it, it's no fatwa. I would be careful if I think that there are going to be wine bottles exchanged and stuff. I would say I'm out of it. But if not, then yeah.
The question, someone said to me that if they don't pray regularly, it's fine because the Imam will intercede for him on the day of judgment. Is this a justifiable argument?
No. I like this question the most. Simple answer. It saved me a lot of hassle. That's how we should ask the questions to Maraje. Proper context and then the question so they can give an answer. But people put so many ifs and buts that the Maraje says, it's like if this and but this, and in the end, they basically want to say, may I do this, please? This is how often people formulate questions to Maraje. That we shouldn't.
This is what is the difference between Lan and Sab, and are both acceptable towards the killers and enemies of the Ahlul Bayt?
La'an and sab, we should what should we do or not?
Both acceptable towards the killers and enemies.
Yeah, but everything has a place, and we have to be very careful. If there are people who look up to them, and you go in front of them and you start just Lan and all that, and not in a civilized way. Even Lan has a civilized method to do. It's only gonna backfire if someone, as I said, people look up to them. People don't know. So yeah, you should do that, but not in front of others. At least not like that.
If you analyze the sermon of Father, what are the key learning points for us?
That's a big thing that requires a separate complete lecture session on it. So that I would have to pass now, but I can give very quick salient features of it. The quick learning point from the sermon itself is that trust in God and standing up to the oppressors and tyrants and not being afraid. Secondly, it told the tyrants, the lady wanted to reveal the truth about the tyrants and what the Holy Prophet had left for the Ahlul Bayt. So the whole activity was basically to reveal. That's the key takeaway, to reveal. You want to add something?
A couple of questions around Palestine, what's happening right now. What is your opinion on the silence while oppression is taking place is supporting the oppression? They claim to be influencing government policy in favor.
Yeah. So if someone is silent, silence is equivalent to either implicitly endorsing an act, or being indifferent. Like, okay, I don't really care. I don't like it, but I don't dislike it. I've got nothing to do with it. So silence, like one thing is that silence. And then there are some governments that abstain. For example, the vote on ceasefire. That's also sort of, we are silent. We don't take a position. Now, when someone abstains in UN, it basically means we implicitly support you. Abstinence is we want to support you without being blamed for it. That's what these governments do. So as individuals, don't be silent. But when it comes to governments, what can we do? As a citizen of Britain, you can pressurize your government by taking part in protests and petitions and stuff. But there are many other governments, and then you have hardly any influence on those governments.
This is around the month, December. Can you celebrate Christmas Day in a halal way, with the view that Jesus is the follower and the Shia of our Prophet Imam, inshallah?
Yeah, yeah. It's okay. You can celebrate Christmas in a halal way, or again, these are my understandings. I am very careful. This is no fatwa, this is my understanding. In Scandinavia, Christmas is a very cultural thing. And I've seen that Sunni Muslims, some presidents of like Sunni bodies and Sunni organizations, influential people, they have Christmas dinner at home. They put pictures with the grandpa, grandma, the whole family having Christmas dinner in the evening. And what does that mean? Did they celebrate Christmas? No, because Christmas is a holiday season. It's called Christmas Day. Everybody gets together. So they sit together and they have a good halal meal with their family. Has nothing to do with religion or not even anything with Jesus alayhi salam. It's just Christmas is a word which they use for festive season, holiday season. Just like in Iran, they have Shab-e-Jalda. They have Nowruz, which was Zartushti. It has nothing to do with Islam. Later on, they fabricated ahadith that this day and that day. It's a Zartushti thing. Shab-e-Jalda is the shortest night of the year. And this, of course, there are people with Persian origin. They would know. And it's absolutely fine to have Shab-e-Jalda. These are cultural things. So as long as you don't believe that Jesus is God, this, sorry? He's a prophet, he is a slave of God. And even if you have nothing, as a Muslim, you say, we have Christmas holiday. And this is a day, on the day of Christmas, we all gather and we talk about the fadail of the Amirul Mu'mineen on our Christmas dinner. So it's the day of Christmas. It's a word. So what? This is my understanding. I am not giving any ruling or anything, So it's okay. But but we have to be very careful. I can say this, you can understand this, we are grown up, but small children. So I have to complete the discussion, looking at it from different angles. Small children should not understand that this is our festival, that it's okay to be Muslim and also take part in others' festivals with full devotion. No, this they should not. So we have to be careful.
There's some further questions to answer, but I think we'll send it to you, then inshallah we can pass the answers to the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat.